Answer the first question.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's great to be back in Michigan.
Yeah, actually,
we love Michigan with the amazing patrons of Oakland County. And tonight I'm deeply honored to receive the Oakland County GOP's Man of the Decade Award for the second time. Wow. Almost 10 years to this day ago, it was a great honor. In 2013, I received it, and I remember I got up and I said, how come you're allowing them to take away your car business? What did I know, right? But I was right about that. But it's really an honor to be with you. I want to thank Oakland County Republican Party Chairman Vance Patrick, great guy. I also want to recognize Michigan State Senators Jim Runstad and Jonathan Lindsay. They're great people. Thank them from the bottom of my heart. They gave us a beautiful endorsement. We appreciate that. Michael and so many of my friends are sitting right out there. Thank you very much. Michigan GOP Chairwoman Christina Carano. Christina Carano she's a hard worker. She's working very hard. She wants to keep this as a very honest election. Not easy to do. One of the great senators, one of the most powerful people. By the way, an incredible football coach. He was an incredible football coach, and now he's an incredible senator. Tommy Tuberville of Alabama. Where's Tommy? Tommy! He's an incredible man. Thank you. And they love him in Alabama. They love him all over the country. Somebody that really put up a good fight, fought very, very hard for Governor Tudor Dixon. Where's Tudor? He's a terrific person, and she fought hard. A friend of all of ours and a very well-known person in Michigan. He's a great restaurateur, Mark Zarkin. Thank you very much, Mark. It was a fantastic job. Food is very good, Mark. We could use him in a lot of our cities all over the country. If we could get a little younger version, he doesn't mind when I say that. I said what this city needs is a young Rudy Giuliani, and he's here. Where is he? Where is Rudy? Rudy, you're fantastic, Rudy. Greatest mayor in the history of New York. And also our friends with the Dominican fathers and sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. They're with us tonight. They've been with us right from the beginning. They're here someplace. Thank you, and thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right from the beginning. And by the way, you see Biden now, the real Biden, on religion. He's not in favor of religion. He can talk all he wants, but what they've done to Catholics and what they've done to evangelicals, what they've done to everybody is a disgrace. So the sisters got it long before anybody else, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here. It's a great honor. For 7 years, all of us have been fighting side by side to rescue our country from the sinister forces who truly hate our country and want to destroy it. And now we are approaching the most important battle of our lives. This is the most important election we've ever had, without question. On November 5th, 2024, we are going to stand up to the Marxists, the communists, the fascists, and the globalists. But we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win big. We're going to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House. You notice I took the word away. I retired the word from crooked Hillary Clinton because I felt that Joe Biden needed it much more. It's crooked Joe. We're going to finish what we started, and we will make America great again. We will. For decades, the globalist vultures in Washington viciously betrayed Michigan workers and families like nobody can even believe. And they threw open our borders, plundering your factories and shipping your jobs to foreign lands, sometimes to lands that you've never even heard of. Michigan lost nearly 40% of all manufacturing jobs, everything after the NAFTA catastrophe and China's entrance into the World Trade Organization. Yeah, sit down, everybody. Yeah, sit down. I'm excited to be here also. Sit down. We'll be with you for a little while. Sit down and enjoy it. I think everybody, great. I'm very honored by the fact you stand, but you sit down. Thank you. But after years of cruel sellouts by past leaders, you finally got a president who put Michigan first and put America first. It took a long time. And just as I promised, I saved the U.S. auto industry from total destruction. And I talked about it 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I talked about it for a long time, what they've done. They've taken almost 50% of manufacturing ability and brought it into other countries. Other countries are making cars now at a level that nobody can believe. I ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the best trade deal ever made, the USMCA, that's Mexico and Canada. The USMCA is creating tens of thousands of jobs in the United States, and it's just been amazing the way it's worked. In fact, the jobs are so strong here that Mexico and Canada want to renegotiate the deal. Isn't that nice? Tommy Tuberville says, isn't that nice? Because we have had bad deals, every single one, but with tough new requirements to ensure more cars are made in American factories by American workers, and it's happening right here in Michigan. And this had nothing to do with the Democrats. They're going to end it. They want every car to be all electric, except you don't make all electric cars too much. You know who does? China. China makes them. The deal was so good that Mexico and Canada now, as I said, are working very diligently to destroy that deal and replace it with a deal that's very much in their favor. Don't do it, Biden administration, don't do it. When I took office, the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership was set to slaughter U.S. automakers. It was slaughtering them. It was going to be a disaster. I stopped it, I vetoed it, I stopped it in its tracks. Every worker and supplier at Ford, GM and Chrysler would have been crushed. They would have been out of business. It would have taken them out of business. Nobody understood it. Now they understood it. Joe Biden and Ron DeSanctimonious were both all in favor of it, but we stopped it cold. If I hadn't, you wouldn't have any auto production in Michigan. Just as I promised the people of Michigan, I withdrew from, it's called TPP, nice name, TPP. I withdrew on day one. I totally renegotiated Obama and Biden's horrendous Korea trade deal, one of the worst trade deals, but I renegotiated it. It would have flooded our market with foreign pickup trucks and cars, decimating your industry. I ended it, and I made it into a great deal. It's now a great deal for you. I also placed historic tariffs on all foreign aluminum and foreign steel, which saved your steel industry. Otherwise, you wouldn't even have a steel industry. And if you don't have steel, you don't have a country. Like borders, like elections, you gotta have real elections. We don't have real elections. We have fake elections. I stood up to China like no administration has ever done before, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury from China, when no other president had gotten them to pay even 10 cents. China never gave us anything except lip service. And when China targeted our farmers, which they did viciously and violently, I said to our Secretary of Agriculture, what's the damage that they did over the years? It was $28 billion. So I gave our farmers $28 billion from China. I got it from China, straight out of the tariffs that China was paying. $28 billion to our farmers. That's why when they say, how are you doing in Iowa? How are you doing in Nebraska? I said, there's no way the farmers are voting against me. I got them $28 billion, but you never know, do you? Except we just had a poll come out of Iowa where I'm leading by 47%, so I'd have to lose pretty quickly. Now we're doing great in Iowa, we're doing great all over. Ron DeSantis opposed my China tariffs very strongly, and simply put, he sided with the communists in China while I fought for workers in America. And successfully fought, successfully like nobody has ever fought so successfully. No president has fought harder either for Michigan than I have. No president has ever fought harder. I saw what was happening from day one. And sadly, none has betrayed Michigan more than crooked Joe Biden. He's betrayed your state because he's allowing people to take away your jobs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. You'll see it over the next couple of years. Right now, you're not feeling it as much because of what we did, but you'll see it. For 3 years, Biden and his radical left allies have waged war on American auto workers like nobody has witnessed to this extent before in his ridiculous crusade to force everyone into electric cars. And by the way, they have a place. Right now, they're selling at about 5%. They have a place. They want them to sell at 100%. But we don't have the goods to make them. You know who has the goods? China has the goods. China has the countries and controls the countries with what they need for the batteries. But you know, we have more than anybody else, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. We have liquid gold right under our feet. Biden has doubled the CAFE standards, costing automakers an estimated $200 billion, and that number is going up, and sending car prices skyrocketing and killing thousands and thousands of U.S. auto jobs, in addition to which you can't produce because you can't get the chips and you can't have, your supply chain is a disaster. The whole country is a mess. Biden is a catastrophe for Michigan, and his environmental extremism is heartless and disloyal and horrible for the American worker, and you're starting to see it. Driven by his ridiculous regulations, electric cars will kill more than half of U.S. auto jobs and decimate the suppliers. They're being decimated already. Decimate the suppliers, and it's going to decimate your jobs, and it's going to decimate more than anybody else the state of Michigan. It's going to be decimation. It's going to be at a level that people can't even imagine. Meanwhile, the cars don't go far. The range is even worse in the winter. The materials are all made in China, and it takes so much energy to produce the batteries that electric cars don't even break even environmentally for at least 5 to 10 years. They'll never break even. It's a catastrophe waiting to happen. And if somebody wants an electric car, I'm all for it. But you should be able to have a choice of many different versions of automation and automobiles. It's crazy what they're doing. You know, in California, they're talking about all electric cars, and yet they're having blackouts all summer long. We have no electricity. Now they want to go all electric. And you know, some people want to be able to drive more than an hour and a half. The governor of your state is now giving away hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of Michigan taxpayer money to Chinese companies, and one in particular called Grosjean, to build batteries in Michigan. Now it sounds good, but the money's going to Chinese companies. And then they're going to leave. They're going to planning to leave. You watch. They'll take our money and then they say, bye-bye, you stupid fools. That's good for China, but it's bad for America. It's bad for Michigan. And it's very bad for the unions. You know, I'm somebody that gets along with the unions. Actually, the top people are so in love with Democrats because they go to parties together and all. But the people that are in the union, they love me. You know, when I approved the Keystone Pipeline, I met the pipeline workers, and they were all for me. They were all for me. But their leader was against me. He was for Joe Biden. And this was the biggest pipeline, one of the biggest pipelines in the world. 50,000 jobs. And on day one, they terminated the Keystone Pipeline. So I wonder how that man did. He didn't do too well. The head of the union was it was a disaster. But you know, the union workers support me far more than they support Democrats. And they're great people, and they're talented people, and they've been treated very badly. And their leadership, they pay their dues and everything, and their leadership has treated union workers very, very badly, very unfairly. This